Hi, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Healing Conversation. My name is Einav Avni with Untangled Coaching and Untangled Healing, and today with me, Rianna Hijkema. Hello, Rianna.
Yay! It's always a challenge to pronounce my last name correct.
I,
Perfect.
I I
Perfect.
usually have the same challenge with my first name, so I'm kind of like,
I bet. Yeah. I guess.
So, Rianna, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I'm originally from the Netherlands. Let's start with that. But I left the Netherlands in 2011. I plan to go for 3 months abroad to do an au pair like internship kind of thing in Paris, and I never turned back. So since the last almost 12 years now, I'm traveling all around the world, and I change countries like every 3 to 6 months. And right now I'm in Mexico.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah, yeah. I think I was trying to think where were you when we initially spoke? I think it was another it was a country in South America. It wasn't Mexico. It was.
No, that was in Colombia. Yeah, you
Um,
see? And maybe when this is going to be launched, oh no, this is live. Otherwise, I would say, because in a couple of weeks, I'm going to move to Guatemala. And then look, yeah, it's
Amazing.
amazing. It's amazing. And it's been, yeah, almost 12 years now, traveling all around the world. And 5 years in, the first 5 years I traveled alone. And then I met my husband, and we joined our travels. And now we're traveling all around the world together. And it's amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah, but actually, the story that I'm here for is that when I met my husband and we got married, and then, of course, the next beautiful step is having a little family of your own. So we had this idea that, okay, we know it's maybe not going to work the first month, but at least within 3 months. So you start calculating, and oh, that would be great, that would be perfect. Unfortunately, it didn't go like that. We tried naturally for like a year, and then we knew we had to see a fertility clinic, so we went there. We were in that time living in Indonesia, and we went to a fertility doctor, and he said, "Ah, you're so young." I was like almost 29 in that time, and you're healthy, you're fit, you barely drink alcohol, you don't smoke, so it's gonna work, just keep trying. So we tried for half a year more, and it still didn't work. So that was the moment that we said, like, okay, we need to take action now and see what's going on. Maybe there's an issue. So we've done several tests and nothing came out. And the conclusion of the doctor was unexplained infertility. So let's start fertility treatments. And that's what we've been doing for the past 6 years, is going from one treatment to another. In the meantime, also from one country to another. So every time you move clinics, they want to start all the testing again, because they don't take the tests and everything, and all the well, whatever is done in the other clinic, they don't take that as true. They want their own tests. So the whole process slowed down by us moving and traveling, of course. And
Hmm.
from IUIs, we entered in IVFs. And when we came in the IVF world, um, we had this feeling that, okay, this is not how we expected it to be. This is not how we wanted it to go. I mean, you have always this fairy tale idea of like, well, in children language, you cuddle really strong and then there's the baby. But yeah, so when we entered IVF, it was really, really tough. But in the back of my mind, I always had like, okay, keep pushing, keep going. You know what you do it for, and at the end, there is this baby that's gonna, well, create this little family that we were hoping for so much, and it's gonna be all worth it. And so we did IVF one. And to be honest, I was a bit shocked after IVF one that we got the result negative from the pregnancy test, and I was like, how's this possible? Like, everything is scheduled. I'm full on hormones. They exactly know when my ovulation is, the egg retrieval, everything is monitored. And then it's going in the lab, and then it's being put back. And then, of course, I'm pregnant, but I was not. And that was the first like smack in my face, I think, of like having reality in your face. Oh, so even with IVF, it's not directly like working out, because and then we did IVF 2 and IVF 3, and then I did another test for my AMH. And AMH is your egg reserve. And so you're born with an amount of eggs, and then during your years and all your periods, you lose step by step all these eggs. And at the end, when all your eggs are gone, you're becoming in the menopause. So this is a really natural process. But my AMH, my egg reserve, was so low that they didn't want to take me in for IVF4. So that means like there's so little chance to have a healthy egg that they could take for the fertilization. And you know, all the injections, all the appointments, the roller coaster of emotions of going from like hope and excitement and possibilities to all the way down to loss and grief and like uncertainty, and all of this, and all the thousands of dollars that we spent on it, the waste of time, it's crazy. But that was all really hard, but nothing could have prepared me for that moment that we had to make the decision to stop treatments. But not only that, also to stop our dream of having a family, at least the natural way. And that was something I was not prepared for. And that was really tough.
Yeah. I can't even imagine how tough it was. And as you say, after all of the treatments and all of the hopes, right? And then
exactly. Yeah. And this is something that is frustrating me a little bit about this message that goes around, because in general, which makes sense, but the frustration for me is on the part that all the stories we always hear, all the like how it's being portrayed in the social media and in the news, it's always the success stories. And so this gave me the image, it gave me the image that IVF is not where I want to go, but this is the final solution, and then it's going to go work out. And it was not that. And that's what I've been doing a lot on my Instagram right now as well, is like sharing my experience, my feelings, and being on the other side to find people and to connect with them, because that's something that I really missed. When I was going through infertility and especially IVF, I felt really lonely. I felt like I was the only one going through it. And there's such a lack of mental support in this fertility business, let's call it like this, because it's all focused on the physical process. It's like the whole time every time you come in the office, it's immediately like checking your body, checking your stats, checking your temperature, checking everything, but not checking my mental health care. Are you okay? Can you handle it? There's something we can do for you. Or it was so focused on the body, and I did not even realize that. What also kind of happened in this whole 6 years that I was dealing with infertility is that I just didn't see the beauty in the world anymore. Even though, we're traveling all around the world. I'm in beautiful landscapes, the mountains of Nepal, and on the seas and the beautiful beaches in Mexico. And I move the whole time. I meet so many incredible people and get to know cultures and languages that I had no idea of. But those 6 years that I was going through these fertility treatments, there was just one thing in my head, and that was a baby. And I've shared this before, but I really felt infertility is like climbing a really steep mountain. It's like climbing this mountain, and every time you climb up, like you climb up 2 steps and you fall down 3 steps, and there's nobody who's going to carry you to the top. But on the top, there was this baby that I wanted so badly, this family life that I was looking forward to. And so every time you grab yourself up and put some energy, try to put some self-care in yourself, and okay, let's go. We're going to go for another round and another round of medication, injections, appointments, and stress juggling like your normal life and your IVF journey. But on the top was the baby, so I knew what I was doing that for. And then one day, that time we were also in Mexico, I had this visualization and I was sitting on the beach at that moment, and I looked at the ocean, and I just couldn't even see the ocean. And I didn't see anything in life. The only vision that I had the whole time was this mountain, like keep climbing, keep pushing, keep going. And then I had this visualization that I had this baby in my arms, And I felt so happy. But the moment I looked up, there was nothing. There was just this baby in my arms, and there was my husband was not there, my friends and family were not there, my job that I loved was not there. That it was just empty. And that was, I can still get emotional of that moment that I realized that, gosh, I'm climbing the wrong mountain. I'm so focused on this one thing on the top that I forgot all the other things, like my relationship with my husband, relationship with my friends, the energy I get from my job. I just couldn't see or feel anything anymore. I was so focused on, and for me, it's a baby. For other people, there are other things. It can be like really materialistic things, like a car or a house, or it can be wanting a boyfriend or a partner or somebody so badly, and you cannot find it, and then you just keep focusing on that one thing on the top, and you keep working for it, but in the meantime, neglecting all the other things. And when I got that epiphany and that realization that, like, that life has so many facets. It's like if you look at it at a circle and they're like, well, say 12 aspects. There's only one aspect that was this family life and this baby. And even though it was massive, and it still is, it was a huge part of how I saw my future evolve. But there's so many other aspects. So what I've been doing that last the 6th year kind of went after this realization is being really focused on all the things that I could control. Because, like, for me, getting a baby, finding a boyfriend, getting that job, getting that house are a lot of things that you cannot control, but there are so many things you can control. And that's what I started focusing. So putting time and investment in my relationship, and start having date nights, and put time and energy in my friends, and build a business in the meantime that would light me up, and it's a business that I still jump out of bed for, and all these kind of things that I could create. And yeah, that's been a huge shift in my life. So the moment, and that was last March, the moment that we had to decide to stop treatments, um I want to say that we decided it, even though the doctors didn't let us anymore. But I want to have this power that we made this decision to say, okay, it's enough. It's not possible anymore. And now we stop. And that was a really weird split of feelings, kind of. In one side, there was this grief part, and the other side, it was like, okay, what now? What's next? And respecting this part of loss and grief and sadness, but in the meantime also not forgetting that there are so many other ways that we can create a beautiful life, and that doesn't take away the sadness. And this is going to be a wound we're going to carry for the rest of our lives. I've done a lot of research about women who also ended up childless after infertility treatments, and then there are studies of 20 years, 30 years in. And there's a percentage of women who could never move beyond their grief, and they've lived a miserable life. And I read that, and it was really eye-opening for me to say, like, okay, how can I combine those two? So kind of like, how can I still live an extraordinary life? Because that's what I'm aiming for. I want to live an extraordinary life despite not having what I want the most. I don't want to neglect this part because this is part of me, but it cannot rule my life for the rest of my life. And yeah, so it's been really about finding this balance now between those two of like, yes, I'm full of energy, but there are days that I just feel crap. Like when a friend of mine just got a relationship a couple of months before and then she's pregnant, or when my brother got children, all these kind of things, I'm so happy for them, but they also hurt because they show me the thing that I don't have, what I wanted so badly. And of course there might be people thinking, yeah, but there are other solutions, like you can do egg donor, or you can do adoption, and that's something that's been um, it's such a personal choice what you do being childless after IVF, how you want to move forward. And it's not an easy quick fix to say, okay, then I just adopt. If you just hear people who have been adopting, it's like it's years and years of a whole different process of getting to that baby that you want. Egg donor, it's a personal choice. Some people don't feel comfortable with it. For me, that's a choice that doesn't feel comfortable for me and my husband. And so figuring out life now after IVF, being on the other side, that's what I call it, because a lot of people, and even women actually, even women who end up with a baby, they have to still figure out life after IVF because it's been such a traumatic experience. And it's so, yeah, like I said before, there's such lack of mental support that a lot of times a couple of years in, and I'm really aware of that, I do a lot of work for this as well, because I don't want that in 5 years I'm in a burnout and then I feel like, gosh, I did not process everything. So I'm trying to put in the work now, whatever I can to make sure that I don't end up depressed, anxiety, all these kind of feelings that you don't want to feel. You want to feel alive, you want to feel energetic, you want to spend time with people you love and do things that make you happy. So
it just sounds to me like that decision to stop the IVF treatment just reminded me a lot of like pulling out the a life machine, right? When people
yeah, well, that's that's really strong what you're saying, but yeah, kind of it is. It's stopping something that you were.
that you
And,
have a lot of
you know,
hopes attached to it.
I think what the thing is also, like, for all my life, like I'm the oldest of 4 children. I have 3 younger brothers, so I was always mothering them. My mom had, in the time that she had when we were very young, there were 4 other children in the house that my mom was babysitting for. So I was always this caring person, and I always thought that I would. Of course, I'm going to be a mom. That's going to be. My mom was 24 that she got me. And I always had this dream when I'm 24, I also want to be a mom because then I'm young and I'm full of energy and I can be there for my children. And well, when I was 24, I broke up with my relationship and I moved to Paris. So I knew at that time that it would not happen really soon. But when I met my husband a couple of years later and we started trying for a baby, it was like still, now, of course, it's going to work. I never doubted that for a moment. And what I wanted to say is that, like, kind of all my decisions in life have been in the back of my head. Yeah, but what if you're pregnant? Or, yeah, but when you have a child, then you can not do this. Or be careful which job you choose if there is like enough maternity leave support and insurance, blah, blah, blah. Like, it sounds really weird, but all these decisions have always in the back of my head. Yeah, but the moment I'm pregnant or the moment there is a child, then. And also that feeling suddenly fell away in March on that Friday morning that we said, okay, it's done. It's done. And what now? How are we going to create our life now? And also this is for everybody a personal process. And grief is like, is not explainable, I would say. I've spoken to a lot of women and some need 10 months, some need 10 years to process this. And I think what's really important that when you feel you cannot do it yourself anymore, to find help. And there are people out there who can support you in this. And the other thing I think that's been really, really important to me is that find people who get you, people who, like, for example, when I left the Netherlands and I arrived in Paris and I was all alone, all by myself there and rebuilding my life, I wanted to meet other people who are travelers and moving a lot. And so they would get me. And then when I left my job, for example, and I became a business owner, I wanted to be surrounded by entrepreneurs and people who would get me in this field. But then when we quit our IVF treatments, I wanted to be surrounded with people who were also in the same situation, who were now childless after IVF. And I couldn't find them. Because because why would, entrepreneurs, travelers, they're everywhere. And it's like they're yelling from the rooftop, like, look at me. But people who are women, specifically women who are childless after IVF, they are not going to post pictures on Facebook with their empty arms or their bruised belly or are like the nursery room that they will never use. They don't. And they keep struggling in silence, and that's something that I just didn't want for myself. And I was so looking for this tribe to find these people that would get me, that would be there to support me and inspire me and challenge me to make the most of it, and but also be there for the days that it just doesn't work out. And
Mm.
yeah, so I don't know, maybe I can share something really cool that I'm going to do in March.
Yes, absolutely.
And,
But I guess the one thing that we're just missing in between, I guess, is that now this is what you are doing for people, right? Now you are the support system that they need.
yes, exactly, exactly. And that's, it's been so powerful to be in surrounded by people who get you, people who are, and our community is growing and growing slowly, but it is. And people, because I could not find what I needed, I've created that I knew people would find me.
Mm.
And that's just so powerful and heartwarming to see how deeply and how quickly we connect on because we had all been through such a traumatic experience. The connection is so powerful and so strong. And there's so many, yeah, sometimes people think, oh, you're all sit on a call and then you're crying together about your loss and your sadness. No, we address it, but we're
Mhm.
all women who want to make something out of our life. And you know, the women who got the baby, they say, oh, it was all worth it. We also want to make it all worth it. And
Mm.
so, but it's in a different way. And yeah, so what I'm going to do in March is going to be the first retreat of many to come. And it's going to be, we're going to do a 3-day hike on a part of the Appalachian Trail. So it's a beautiful hike in the US. And we're going to be there connected together. We're there to support each other, to inspire each other, to challenge each other. And we're going to use like coaching tools from my own practice. We're going to do interactive games. They're going to be, and the hiking itself, being in nature is so powerful. I realized that when I was going through infertility and IVF, how important it was for me to move my body, to be in nature, to be connected with, like, getting back to my roots. They say issues store in your tissues. Well, going through
Say it
IVF,
again, sorry.
it's, yeah, it's everything, all your trauma, whatever trauma it is. For me, it's the infertility trauma. It's getting stored in your body, and the only way your body can deal with it is by moving. And
Yeah.
and so it's a beautiful combination of being like reconnecting to yourself, but also connecting with others and feeling like you're not the only one, being in this tribe. And then besides that, being in nature and feeling this healing powers of it, it's going to be a magical 3-day journey that we're going to do, and many more to come, because this is, yeah, this is something that's going to keep us going, keep us move forward, and yeah, make the most of it.
Yeah, I think it's incredible. Exactly what you say, right? You find that gap. You find the something that you needed for yourself, and because you've been through it, you're able to offer it to other people.
Exactly. I read a quote yesterday that said, I am what I am after.
Mm.
And I was like, bomb, that came in. Like, yes, I'm creating what I'm looking for. And together we can shape this into something magical. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to this first one in
Yeah,
March.
this retreat that definitely sounds incredible. You know, it's very powerful. I think also to be in a group with other people, and there's no pretense, right? You just are. You feel what you feel, and you're able to share it, and there's no judgment, and there's no, it just, everyone is feeling the same thing. So powerful and
Yes.
so empowering to be in that group, in that, in that space of, I am, I'm just bringing myself with my suffering, but also with my hopes and the resolutions, and what, whatever I'm allowing myself to feel, because I don't owe anything to anyone, basically. So
Yeah, I know. We sometimes forget it because we get so absorbed in the world, and then, you know, the world keeps going, but you need to kind of find your way into this. And no matter what trauma, no matter what healing you're going through, this connection with people who get you and where you can be yourself, exactly what you said. I think that
Yeah.
that's the best description ever, where you can just be and not pretend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So in a minute after this call, I'm going to share your link. So will there be a link also for the retreat in the links that I'm
Yeah.
sharing?
Yeah, there will be a link. It's going to be launched in 2 weeks. So I want to wait for that moment, but I
Mhm.
can drop it afterwards in 2 weeks
Yeah.
underneath
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, definitely my Instagram. That's where I'm most active. This is where my community is created during the infertility journey. And this is where it's now like slowly moving into the community of childlessness. And so, yeah, that's the best way to find me.
Excellent. Excellent. So
Thank you.
thank you so much for sharing all of this. And I'm sure there are people out there that, resonate with this exact story. And I'm very happy, if you can find each other's tribe in this, then that's awesome. Great.
Thank you so
So
much.
we just come to an end with this conversation. Rianna, thank you so much for being here and for sharing all of this, and for being that tribe leader for the people that needs that. Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
I appreciate to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.